Good evening. I hope all of you are doing well. Yeah, I can already see a few comments. So thanks for joining, and I hope more people will join the stream. We'll wait for a minute or so before we begin answering the questions. But till then, uh, I hope all of you are doing well, and nobody has lost the momentum, because this is where the challenging part begins, right? So making sure that you're not losing the sight of the bigger picture, and you know why you're doing this, and just constantly you're keeping yourself motivated, right? That's the important part in the last few days. Okay, all right. So let's start with the question. So hi Shima, hi Omkar. There's a question from V7. Zero prep, 31 percentile first attempt, 80 second attempt, 99. Is it possible to go to 99.9 percentile in third attempt? Okay, so you have mentioned that your second attempt was 99 percentile, right? So you're already there, right? There's absolutely nothing that you need to be worried about. I think anybody who has crossed, I would say, and aiming for, let's say, a top tier institute has got at least a 90 plus percentile once, should not be worried. See, because what happens on the D-Day is you have a lot of things that work in your favor. The fact that you've worked for several months, you've put in so much effort, all of that will culminate into something positive. So I don't think you need to be worried about it. Now, when you look at 99 to 99.9 percentile, again, that gap is not very, very high, right? Of course, there's pretty significant gap there. It's not like the gap between 98 to 99, if you see, versus say 99 to 99.9. It is going to be challenging, but it will always come down to, say, having that one additional set in DLR, or having, say, one extra RC in VRC, or a couple of VA questions, or maybe 3 to 4 questions in quant. So you will still have to push yourself. Having said that, you never know exactly how it will turn out, right? So on the D-Day, for all you know, you will be able to get to even a 99.99 or more if things work in your favor, right? And that is always difficult to predict. So I have always maintained this thing that if you can technically prepare for a 99.9 percentile. What happens beyond that depends on a little bit of element of luck as well. What sort of question do you come across first? What choices do you make? So there is going to be a bit of that element as well, but that is very, very marginal. You have to prepare for a 99.9, right? So I don't see any reason why you should be worried. Just continue to put in the effort that you've put in so far, and that should be okay. What forms to fill before CAT for 80 percentile in mocks? So 80 percentile in mocks should be somewhere around 90 plus percentile on the actual CAT. So you can go to bschoolzone.imsindia.com and go through the past year cutoff data, right? So mostly before CAT, you don't have to fill too many forms. If you're thinking of IFT, the cutoff would be about 95, 97 plus. For FMS, you will of course need far more. You will need like 99 plus and so on. But at a 90 plus percentile, you can definitely look at institutes such as, say, Bitsom is one thing that you can look at. You can look at, and anyway, technically before CAT, you are not going to have too many forms that are open, right? Very few will close before CAT. Through that, I think SPJMR as well, but I would say if you have good profile, then you can apply to SPJMR. Otherwise, there's no point. Laksh, so Lakshay, right? Is it Lakshay or Laksh? Okay, how many marks in mocks we should fill? MDI Gurgaon form. Okay, so in the form filling video, I have given typically what is the range that we are looking at, right? So whether it is MDI or FMS or IFT, for the three, and even for SPJMR, we have detailed form filling guideline videos. Please have a look at that, because in that I've already mentioned what percentile you should be looking at. Predicted CAT percentile is something that you can refer to. So in my IMS dashboard, have a look at the predicted CAT percentile. Using that, you can estimate, work with like plus or minus 2 or 3 percentile range, and whatever falls in that range, then you can go and apply to these places. Okay, this is from Vansh. QA average 5 marks, can I improve? If yes, then strategy. So in the limited days, right, we have very limited time ahead of us. I would say you should just focus on arithmetic. In the remaining days, I don't think there's any point working too much on some of the most difficult areas that are out there. I will definitely not do anything that I've not done so far. Let's say, for example, if you haven't done geometry, I would not encourage you to do geometry in the remaining days, right? Because it's not going to help you, considering your quant score is a single digit score right now. I would definitely do arithmetic very well. Make sure that you've done all past CAT papers at least, focusing on arithmetic and maybe numbers and algebra. If you can have like 3 areas that you can handle, nothing like it, right? So that will definitely help. But the strategy is largely going to be focusing on arithmetic and not going too much out of that comfort zone, right? So whether it is a geometry or PNC probability, there's no point doing very difficult stuff, especially something that you have not studied so far. So stick to the basic and moderate level questions across the topics, focusing more on arithmetic. Okay. This is from Lena. In PYQs, some are very hard. We have to solve that. Okay. Even if you don't solve it completely, you should know that, okay, how to identify a difficult question. So you still need to glance through them, right? You should go through them to see, okay, fine, this is a difficult question. And if at all something comes which is similar to this, then I need to stay away from it. So for people who are scoring on the lower end, right, there's no point getting into C category questions. But for students who are already doing very well, let's say you're consistently hitting 90 plus or 95 plus percentile, etc., in that case, you should be doing difficult questions as well. Isha, my scores are getting lesser and lesser in mocks that I'm giving since this week. What should I focus on? My immediate suggestion is going to be to take a break, right? So take one day as break if you are constantly taking mocks, because you also need to have a little bit of break so that your mind becomes fresh. See, whether you appreciate it or not, your brain gets tired, right? So you have to understand that solving questions back to back, taking mocks, doing analysis, your brain will have a little bit of fatigue. You have to give it some rest. So maybe one day you can take a break. Say today, for example, you don't take a mock, and then tomorrow onwards you again start, right? So scores getting lower is okay. It happens to a lot of people towards the end for multiple reasons. It could be performance pressure. It could be just a function of the difficulty of the test as well. So I'll not overthink this. I will say, okay, fine. If you're doing well in the past, there's no reason why you should not be able to replicate that performance. Okay, so it's okay. But see if you are feeling a little bit burnt out. In that case, a break is what I would recommend. Omkar, my marks are fluctuating a lot. Sometimes my brain stops working, like I completely forgot to solve either VRC, quant, etc. What to do about it? So as much as possible, take mocks in the same slot, right? So that your brain, your mind, your body, everything has adjusted to that time. So see, the whole point is why a lot of people don't do well on the test, right? Is because they think that this is something different, something that is special. But if you make it a part of your daily routine, you tend to do a lot of things automatically around it. So if you must have noticed, right, when you go to office or when you go to college, there are so many things that you are doing without putting in a lot of thought process, right? It just automatically things are happening. So you know that, okay, you have to check your bag before you leave. You know you have to book your ticket and whatever, right? So all of that is happening naturally because it's happening repeatedly. So your mind is very relaxed while doing that. But the moment we say, okay, I'm taking a test, suddenly there is this element of pressure and panic and all of that. So the more and more test taking you do, it will start going down. The other thing that you need to do is, of course, mindfulness. You have to practice that. And the way to practice it is after every, say, 4 or 5 minutes, automatically, if you can think about, okay, how much time have I spent? Am I doing okay? Not judging your performance, but just understanding that, okay, do I need to speed up or am I doing okay on that front? And that awareness is important. And knowing, okay, fine, if let's say I'm not able to solve a particular question, there's always another question. So it's not that this is the only question that is there in the paper, right? So quant, for example, you are going to have so many questions. If not this, maybe there is some other question that you can solve. So I'll not worry too much about things that I can't solve. But then you have to know what is it that is difficult to do today, right? And it's okay. So you need to classify a question as, okay, can I do it today? Yes or no? If I cannot do it today, then just leave it. If I can do it today, do I do it now or do I do it later? Right. So those decision making, if you can get better at, your scores will not fluctuate too much. Okay. But even then, it's okay to have fluctuating scores, right? It's not necessary that it should remain static. Okay. Same thing for you, Shivangi. Exactly the same response that I gave for Omkar. Okay, this is Sahil. My predicted score in SimCAT around is 98.8. How can I go to 99.5? If CAT predicted is around 98.8, right? I think 99.5 should not be very difficult as well, right? So we generally say that this is ultimately prediction, right? And you can always overshoot that particular prediction. So you can go beyond 99 or 99.5 as well. Um, of course, it depends a lot on the difficulty of the test, but uh, from a mindset perspective, you have to know that okay, you can potentially go to a 99.5 or even more. So just convince yourself that, and it's not very difficult to convince yourself. Kunal, scoring around 50 to 17 SimCATs, that's pretty good. After analysis, there are always 15 to 20 marks of A-level questions combining all sections, which I could have done. How to perform to the maximum potential? So there are two reasons. In fact, I just made a short also around that. There are two main reasons why that happens. Number one is because you are in a test condition. So there is a panic. You start overthinking what you are doing, or you end up making some judgment errors. Right? The second reason why that happens is because you come out of the test and then you know that okay, these were the kind of questions. Oh, there was this easy question. So your mind is working when you're not solving questions as well, right? So that is why you end up realizing that there I could have done better. My potential score is much better. So the way to fix it is your question selection and when you leave a question. These two things you have to take care of. So when I say question selection, right? When I enter a particular question, let's say if it is quant question, do I know exactly what I am supposed to do? Then only I will attempt it first of all. The second thing is if I have decided to attempt it and for whatever reason it turns out to be difficult, have I done the two or three standard approaches that I'm supposed to do before I leave a question? Then only I will leave it. So if I don't see a progress after in a quant question, for example, if I don't see anything happening after 2.5 minutes, mostly it is an error that has happened, right? On my part, either the question classification that I thought is wrong, or I have made a silly mistake somewhere, or I maybe I should have done some other method, but I'm doing some other method, right? So you have to realize what is the mistake that has happened, and then only you will be able to fix it. But if after 2 minutes you realize that nothing is happening, it's better to move on, provided you have tried those approaches in 2 minutes, right? Because for all you know, that question is going to need 3 minutes fundamentally, and you mostly will not be able to then solve it in 2 minutes. So you have to really know how what is according to you a category question. So see, for me, most percentage questions will be a category questions because I know I'm very very good at it. But if I get something from say PNC, right, I will have to think whether is it something that I can handle or I can't handle. If I can't handle, just skip it. I'm stuck at this is from Karthik. 50 पे score stuck है ऐसे कैसे आएगी 96 percentile. Okay, so firstly 50 score is not bad raw score when you think of it. But because if you look at the actual CAT data also, you will see it's not a very bad score to have. What happens when you actually go for the test is what score you will get will depend on the difficulty of the test. So let's say if the paper is easy, your 50 in a SimCAT might be equivalent to a say a 65 or a 70 on the actual test as well. So you have to be aware of that it's a function of the difficulty of the test. It's not about how much you're getting on the SimCATs. Correct? If you can get, let's say on a good day, maybe a 70 or a 75, your percentile is going to be much better. Provided it's like a paper which is moderate or difficult paper. If it turns out to be easy paper, 50 is not going to suffice. So you don't overthink the difficulty and the score versus percentile tables. When you go for the test, you should not be thinking about that. You should be like, okay, fine, these are the questions in front of me. What is the best that I can do with it right now? And you do that without worrying about, okay, how is it relative to others? Because you don't know how will it be exactly. This is from Tarun. I'm attempting 2 RC and 8 VA questions, but getting around 20 to 22 marks. Should I attempt third RC for 30 plus marks? Okay, so if you have time, then yes, you can do that. But then understand what implication will it have on, let's say, your overall accuracy. So what you can do is you can try attempting the third RC and see what it does to your accuracy. If the accuracy falls sharply, then you should not do it. But if the accuracy doesn't drop too much, or in the additional questions you're getting more accuracy, you should definitely go for it. See, the point to note is, let's say you do one more RC, which is 4 questions. To even be at 0, marks, you will have to get 1 question correct and 3 questions wrong. Correct. The only time investment that happens would be say around 7-8 minutes. Correct. So now the worst case scenario that happens in 7 to 8 minutes is that you get 0 marks. Correct. But let's say you get 2 questions correct and you get 2 questions wrong, you are at +4. Correct. So I will have to see that my accuracy should not drop so much that it is like terrible accuracy. But even if it is 50% or above, any incremental questions that you solve will give you additional marks. So keep that in mind. How to train your mind for QA panic? Okay, easier said than done. But see, you'll have to keep telling yourself that there is no reason to panic. See, people who panic will be basically the ones who have not put in a lot of effort, right? So they don't know how to react to those situations. You would have done, I don't know, maybe 15-20 mocks so far, including past year papers. So you know, right, that these are the things that are going to happen. And if it happens, then how do I react to it? So there is this quote, right, that there's no such thing as good or bad. Our thinking makes it so, right? So everything is like what it is. Whatever we think about that makes it either good or bad to us. So that is why you have to know that a paper is just a paper. Whatever you can solve, the easy ones, you go and attack them, and you don't worry about the difficult questions. See, there's no differential marking, right? That an easy question is worth X points and difficult question is worth say 2x or 3x points. Ultimately, every question is worth the same marks that you're going to get. So there's no merit in doing a lot of difficult questions if you are stuck at lower scores. Then your objective is very simple. Look at 3-4 questions at a time, identify something from the topics that you have done confidently, and attack those questions without worrying about what others will do or how many difficult questions are there in the paper. Predicted 89 percentile and how much score in actual CAD. So predicted itself is like an actual CAD prediction, but I think you can go better than that as well. So typically it will be more. Neeraj, I used to solve hard DLR, but now even for easy sets, I'm taking more than 12 minutes. What to do? Okay. You have to understand that when you decide on a set, you need to have a mental picture that, okay, this is how it is done. So let's say if I tell you that, okay, there's a set on, say, tournaments, right? And there are 8 teams knockout. I need to know that 8 teams knockout, this is how I'm supposed to draw the structure of it. If I know the structure, mostly I'll be able to place the elements. But if I don't know the structure, if it is something which is too arbitrary, I should not be getting into it. So that is why you should not be doing something which is very, very difficult, number one. Now, if you are saying that on easy set also I'm taking more than 12 minutes, one issue could be fatigue. The other is that when you transfer data from screen to your paper, see how much time you're taking. Are you making any mistakes while copying? Are you ensuring that, okay, once I've read, let's say, condition A, am I marking it so that I don't have to go back to that condition? So all of that you will have to take care of. So you just analyze what exactly is making you take so much time. And then there you will find the answer. So answer will be there. That, okay, maybe you are taking too much time to transfer conditions from screen to paper. Or you're making a mistake while copying something. Or you haven't solved a set like that. You thought that time that it is an easy set, so you got into it. So figure out where exactly the issue is. Sanya, how do I improve my score from 50 to at least 80? So raw score is something that can just suddenly go up also depending on the difficulty of the test. Let's say today you're getting 50 in a mock, tomorrow I give you an easy mock, you will reach 80. Correct? If you're asking in terms of percentile, can I go from 50 percentile in SimCATs to say an 80 percentile on the actual test? My answer is yes, that is definitely possible. Nancy, I'm not getting score in VRC take home. Other was getting 20 average in past year papers and 15 in SimCATs. That's okay. See, it's a lot of times it's just a function of difficulty of the test, right? So maybe the paper is too difficult. And take home tests are nothing but SimCATs proctored from the previous year. So we use questions from the old SimCATs. And it's okay to get a low score there. That's not really a big concern. If you're getting 20 in the past year papers, that's fine. So that's a good sign, right? That you're at least getting a reasonable score there. No Sky, hello. Kim Cho, Majama. This is my second time writing CAD. The comment is proof to my future self that anything is possible with confidence and positivity. See you all in IMS in 26. Sure. Thanks for sharing. And all the best to you. I'm unable to do same PYQs I solved a month back. While revising them, feels like I've forgotten everything. What should I do? Brain fog happens a lot, especially towards the end. I would say, see, if these questions, the way to revise questions, right, is to just read the question and see, okay, fine, this is the approach. These are the steps that I need to follow to reach to the answer. I will not have time to actually sit and solve all of those questions again. So revision has to be like mental revision now, that I see a question, these are the steps that I need to take, these are the calculations that I will have to make, and that's about it, right? So very simple example. Let's say you take a cylinder, right, and you melt the cylinder, solid cylinder, and then from that you create a cone. Now this is a question, right? So there was something about the radius of the base of the cone. Now, to solve this particular question, what is it that you need to know first? That, okay, the volume is remaining constant because you're melting one piece and you're creating another from that, right? So volume is going to remain the same. What do I need to know for this now? I need to know volume of the cylinder formula. I need to know volume of cone formula, and I need to equate them. This is the revision. I will not really sit, and of course I should know the formula. I will not sit and calculate all of those things again. I will just go through this, that, okay, this is the approach that I need to take. So revise approaches rather than sitting and solving the entire questions again. And it's okay if you have forgotten some of them. That's clearly possible, because all of us forget. Right? If you don't keep doing stuff again and again, you are going to forget it. My score in mocks is around 30. What should I do? Don't worry, first of all. So don't stop preparing, because you still have enough time. You can do in the remaining days, right? You can definitely do, I would say, at least close to about on a somebody who puts in a lot of effort can do maybe 700, 800 questions also in the remaining days. So the battle is still not over, right? So you keep doing what you have been doing so far, and hopefully things will work out. Nyaneshwar, how to keep calm when doing QA? When I see big questions without option, I start panicking. While solving feels like I'm wasting time, and then keep moving from question to question. So you have to start the question only when you're confident. That's number one, correct? So I would suggest that you look at questions, say 1, 2, 3. Now question 1 is from algebra, say whatever, quadratic equation. Question 2 is time, speed, distance. Question 3 is, let's say, P and C. Now out of these 3, which is your strong area? Forget whether the classification is A, B, C as per general audience, right? What is your strong area? Let's say your strong area is time, speed, distance. Then you enter that particular question, start reading it properly, and see, by the time you reach the end of it, have you understood what steps you need to take? It may happen that it is from TSD where you are good, but even then it's a difficult question. Then let's not do it right now. Then you go to question number 4, 5, 6. So let's say question 4, 5, 6, again, you notice one is time and work, the other is, let's say, percentages, and third is, let's say, progressions. What do you know? Let's say percentages. Then jump into it and solve the question. So it doesn't matter whether a question is theta, whether it is MCQ, whether the question is short or is it long. What ultimately matters is how comfortable you are, and have you seen similar questions in the past. If you haven't seen similar questions in the past, it's better to stay away from them. See, panic will start setting in if you try and do a lot of questions and you're not able to solve them. But if you realize that, okay, this is how things are going to be, and I just need to do maybe 8 questions or 10 questions, right, that are easy, I will focus on them rather than worrying about what difficult questions have appeared. Okay, getting 45 in SimCAT, 70 plus in previous year's mocks, that is pretty good. Ayush Bhagat, so I think that's pretty good. 70 plus in past year papers is pretty decent. Ashrin Jalil, I have been scoring 65 to 75 in SimCAT, but my percentile is 77 to 78. Is that my actual percentile? Okay, so right now percentile will be a little bit lower. You will find for a lot of tests, especially SimCAT 18, 19, 20, that even with good raw scores, you're getting lower percentile. That's because a lot of people take the test towards the end, and a lot of them end up scoring on the higher side. So you start thinking that your decent attempt is also bad attempt. So I'll not worry about percentile a lot. Sometimes I solve 3 sets completely in DILR. Sometimes I'm not able to solve a single one. Again, fluctuations are fairly common. So see, you have to know that one test is very different from another test. You may encounter a test which is easy, you're able to solve 3 sets. Another test is difficult, you're able to solve only 1 set. Understand that even in the past, it has happened that in CAT, if you have done one set, you would have cleared the sectional cutoff. Correct? So for now, I will not say you worry too much about it. I will say you know that on the CAT day, no matter what happens, I have to do at least one set. So if it is easy, also I have to do minimum one set. If it is moderate, also minimum one set. So let's get that first set out of our way, because the moment that happens, right, you get confidence that okay, I've done one set. I have I have ensured now that I will be able to get to a certain percentile. The panic will automatically drop from there. But that's the whole point, right? That I have to identify that first easy doable set. If I get that right, then everything is sorted. I've been analyzing this from Anvay. So far I've been analyzing all PYQ, DLR, but I've not been paying much attention to C-type sets. Should I revisit all of them, or should I focus on identifying A and B? So you should look at C category sets so that you know what a C category set looks like. When it comes in the actual test, you can stay away from it. So I have to do it to be familiar with it. I'm taking mocks but not able to give in my allotted time slot due to some unavoidable situation, and also that I just want to waste my mock. Will it impact negatively? Not too much, Nancy Sharma, but I would say that if you can do that, it's going to help you, right? So you, as much as possible, take it in the same slot. But since you mentioned there's some particular reason behind it, at least maybe on the weekend, right? So Saturday, Sunday, if you can take it in the same slot, that will help. Difficulty of SIMCAT 20, I'm not going to comment on it right now. We generally don't want to keep things too difficult towards the end. What to do in VRC and DLR in the last 10 days? So I will definitely take at least 5 mocks in the remaining days. You can do 6, you can do 7, you can do 8 as well, provided you can handle it. The other thing that I'll do is I will solve about 4 to 5 RCs every day and 4 to 5 DLR sets every day, especially on the days when I'm not taking a full length mock. If I'm taking a full length mock on a particular day, I'm anyway doing 4 VRC sets and 5 DLR sets. But on non test days, I should be doing enough practice. Okay. Mock score is around 30. What should I do? Again, I think I've answered that question. Is there any update on MyCat's CAP section as I have my exam on 6? What should I prepare for? So same as what you do for the regular MyCat, you don't do anything different. Apart from mocks plus analysis, what else should be done in a day to make the most optimum use of remaining days? You can revise through the formulae. So go through the formula of Quant. You can do a little bit of light reading. It could be newspaper or magazines and stuff. What does my PY mock test score tell about my capabilities in past year mock score? This is from Ishika Jain. My mock score is around better than SIMCAT. Percentile in PY mock is 85. SIMCAT is around 50-70. You see, that's why we, even if you look at the percentile predictor that we have, right, CAT percentile predictor, for a 50 percentile on the SIMCAT, it would have given you a prediction of 75 plus, right? Now that is accounting for all the dead weight that is there on the CAT. So the 85 plus that you're getting in the actual past CAT papers, that is what you should be working with. I feel exhausted. Little part of me tells, "Ho gaya, ab I want to give CAT directly." Now I feel because of this feeling, I'm not giving much effort in last days the way I was giving before. Oh, that happens to me as well. So I had this thing that a lot of times I used to do this before my school and college exams, that that you end up studying so much to in that run up that towards the end, maybe a day or 2 or 3 prior, you are like, okay, I've done enough now, I don't feel like doing it. But see, my point is, you pace yourself properly. So rather than overdoing things right now, you take a break. If you want, let's say even today or tomorrow you want to take a break, you take a break so that day after tomorrow you can do more effort. So don't completely stop solving questions, because then you get too laid back, and I don't want that to happen. Devang, I solved 2 sets in DLR. How to do the third set? See, you have to be fast, right? So if you, let's say for example, you do 15 minutes per set, then it leaves you with little room to do the third set, and then that's why you can do only 2 sets. Now you will have to bring it down to about say 11 to 12 minutes so that you have some room to do the third set. So the only way you can do that is by reducing, I would say somewhere close to, in terms of your speed, if you can increase that by about 20%, that will give you some opportunity to do one additional set. Parsh, is there any update on my, okay, this I've already answered. Sia Bhatia, I'm 97 in PYQs. Okay, 97 percentile in past year papers is very, very good. On a good day, you can definitely go above 99.5. The only thing is you have to take care of all the things, right? Whether in terms of what questions you select, how quickly you do them, don't panic, don't take what happens in one section to another section. So all of that. So it's more of a mindset thing, and somebody at 97 percentile can easily go to a 99. So it's not a very, very big challenge, because there's hardly any difference between the skills of a 97 percentiler and a 99 percentiler. It's just a matter of a few questions that happen on that particular day. If brain fog is real, how to deal with it? See, meditation helps definitely, and relaxing as much as possible. So you should sleep a lot. It definitely helps. I would not advise you to take any sort of like supplements and stuff like that, which people sometimes end up doing. But those things should not be tried in the last few days, right? I mean, there are a lot of research and stuff around things like Brahmi and stuff, but then I don't know if you should be trying it out towards the end. So sleep a lot. That's the only suggestion that I have, which will relax your mind a little bit. And anything that is negative, just stay away from it completely. So if you need to see, a lot of brain fog also might happen because you, let's say, end up scrolling a lot. So stop doing that. So let's say uninstall some apps or stay away from phone as much as possible, unless it is like something valuable that you want to watch. I just discovered that I made a mistake in my CAT form, but that mistake would have upscaled my score, but still it's taking a toll on me with extra pressure. I'm not able to perform well. Nothing to worry about CAT form, right? So what's done is done. There's nothing that you can do about it right now. Let the result come, and then you can figure out what to do with that mistake. Should I practice? This is from Franklin. Should I practice unattempted mocks as normal questions to cover variety? You can do that, not a problem. Harsh, what strategy should I follow to get at least above 85% in CAT? Currently getting 30-34 in mocks. Past year papers, definitely do them very, very well. Focus on arithmetic in quant specifically, because that will help you to get there. See, 85 percentile data, if you see, right, score versus percentile of last several years, you would notice that just doing the easy questions from the paper will help you to clear 85 percentile. If you do easy plus half of moderate, typically 95 percentile. If you do easy plus moderate, you are definitely at 99 plus, right? So you have to do all the easy questions. So what you need to be good at is identifying what are the easy questions. Vinayak, what do you think should be my last day strategy for someone whose stronger zone is VRC and weakest is quant? Firstly, stop telling yourself that you're weakest. There is a zone which you call weakest. See, quant, even if may not be your favorite, but you have to know, to clear the test, what is it that I need to do? I need to identify easy questions. I need to do them very well. And I need to have at least 2 or 3 areas that I can bank upon. So I can say, fine, my quant is maybe not great, but my arithmetic is fantastic. My DLR, my let's say geometry is fantastic. So what are these 2-3 areas that you can take to the test and say, this is where my confidence is. So let me get any question from these areas. Mostly I'll be able to do these questions. Harsh, I think I've answered your question. Atharva, too much stress with DLR, what can save from disaster? So there is no disaster, right? So till the time you appear for the CAT and come out of the test, when you there is absolutely no disaster. And even after you come out of the CAT and let's say things haven't been great, there's still no disaster, correct? So you have to be completely separated from relating what you can do in life or the situation that you are in from the test score. See, again, let me narrate my first CAT attempt to you, right? So I took my first attempt of CAT when I was in the final year of graduation, and I hadn't done a lot, right? So I hadn't done enough preparation to just about, I would say, not even 50% prepared. I went for the test. Now, during the test, I realized that it is not going that well, but whatever I could do, I did that. I ended up with somewhere around 85 percentile. But the same year, right, I had taken a few other tests. I got a call from NMIMS for interview. I got a call from few other places. I took Maharashtra MBA CET, so I had a 99.3 there. So there were some options that materialized. I was not happy with what I got, but every test that I took, right, I knew that I was getting better, and no matter what happens, this is not the end of it, right? You can always do something else, and that is how I decided that, okay, anyway, I'm not getting the best of the options that I thought for myself, so I'm going to go for a retake. When I went for a retake, I kind of knew that, okay, I was going to get into like a top 25 institute because I had done so much. But no matter, even in my second attempt, I didn't do well in some of the tests. So there used to be this test for FMS. FMS used to have a separate test, and terrible math. I started in the paper itself, I realized this is not going to work out. But I knew that, okay, there are other tests. Right? So there's no reason to give up or to panic or to think that there will be a disaster. And see, with DLR, again, to answer your question, everything comes down to that set selection. If I can get that correct, I will have my score on that day. Please give your opinion about IMS predicted CAT percentile. Okay, I can't give much opinion considering I am the one who came up with the algorithm. So what we did was we basically looked at last 2 years, CAT 23, CAT 24, and in fact we started it last year, so even CAT 22, the year prior to that. And we saw how people were performing on the SimCATs and how they performed on the actual CAT, and we came up with a regression algorithm. But it is not exact regression. We also modified it a little bit because in some ranges the regression works really well, and then there are some ranges where we need to have another different formula for regression. So it's a combination of, in different brackets there is a different regression formula that works to give you the predictions, but it is a decent estimate, I would say. Nikhil scoring 95 plus percentile in PYQs, that's very good. Struggling to score in DLR in other sections, 30s are easy. How to tackle DLR? Okay, so see, 95 percentile is pretty good, right? So I would not, I'm not overall concerned as such. Mostly the DLR could be just because of the difficulty of the section. Now, to get a 30, correct, you need to have at least 2 sets. So if your target is to get 30, you need to identify 2 doable sets on that particular day. It can be those 5-5 sets, or it can be, say, 2.5 sets of 4-4-4, which will take you there. But it's not that something has 4 questions, so it's an easier set, right? It doesn't work that way. So maybe it could be a combination of a 5 question set and a 4 question set. Task is very simple. Out of 5, identify the 2 doable sets. Spend maybe 12 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes roughly on each set. In 24 minutes, you should be able to get to where you want to go, which is about 25, 27 marks at least. And from there on, whatever time is remaining, you can try the third set. Franklin, please make video on SimCAT percentile versus CAT percentile where I can find different data points of SimCAT predicted percentile. So, see, we can't give that because then the algorithm is more or less revealed, right? So if I show individual data points, then basically you have the entire data set on which the prediction is done. But what you can do is, there is a video which is there on our YouTube channel which talks about why you should take SimCATs. In that video, I've covered how we came up with that algorithm and all of the specifics as to how people benefit by taking additional SimCATs. Sometimes I understood the whole RC. I do silly mistakes in it. How can I resolve? In some days I can get 30 marks in VRC, but some days even 12 to whatever. Okay, so 30 if you're getting, and if you've got in the past, I think your comprehension is fine. It mostly then looks like a function of difficulty, that okay, suddenly there was one RC that was difficult, so you ended up not doing very well. 30 is, if you're getting at least in, let's say, 4 or 5 marks, if you got a score of 13 VRC, your VRC is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, what you need to do in the remaining days is definitely pass your papers and go through your past SimCATs that you have done and analyze the easy RCs where you went wrong. So you don't have to analyze the difficult RCs, but analyze the easy RCs where you have made mistakes and see if there is any trend, right? If, let's say, every time you're getting inference-based questions wrong, or let's say you are not able to get the central idea correctly. So easy RCs, analyze them wherever you've gone wrong. Why do we not have PYQs of 2017 and 18 on portal? See what happened in 2017, 18, etc. A lot of these questions, firstly, the slot, the duration of the test itself was different, right? So if you look at pre to 2019, it used to be a 3-hour paper. So there isn't a lot of benefit that you get from doing 3-hour papers because the test has changed. And the other thing is, now you have the new format. The difficulty also has changed from those era, that era. For example, 2017-18, right? If I recall, a 300 mark paper, and the 99th percentile used to be somewhere around 150, 165, 170, etc. So that is why it's not a big help if you do 2017-18. Even if you do 2020 onwards, that's good enough. Bapat Bhargav. Okay, Bitsom is worth joining. I have 28 months work ex and I'm scoring off average 90 percentile in PYQs. You should apply. See, whether something is worth joining or not is a question that can be answered at a later point of time once you have a convert. Till then, you should create more opportunities for you. So I'm generally in favor of creating more opportunities and then rejecting those opportunities than regretting not applying at a later point of time. Is MCAT VRC section tougher than CAT? Sometimes yes. Sometimes yes, it is difficult. I have slot 3, so before that I should go through previous slots and know about how the paper was and just directly go to give my exam. So Aditi, that's a good question. I would suggest that you go through, so even on IMS channel, you will have like a initial commentary somewhere around 10:45 or 11 a.m. You should go through that just to know if there is any major change that has happened with respect to difficulty or the number of questions. Okay, so let's say suddenly they asked, let's say they drop a particular question type in VRC. Now, if they have dropped it in one slot, they will drop it in other slots as well. And that is where you will benefit. So slot 2 and slot 3 students have that minute advantage that if they get to know something like it, they can strategize a little better compared to slot 1 students. But that's the only thing that I will look at. I don't need to know anything else. What's the cutoff for IFT EWS non-engineer? Okay, Darshit, right? Honestly, I don't remember. I mean, there's absolutely no point me trying to remember all of these random data points. I will say if you go through the IFT form filling video, you will find that some information is given about cutoffs, and basis that you can take a decision whether you want to apply. Again, somebody has asked what's the safe percentile for SC male engineer. There is no such safe number, right? But if you see, if you look at say SC cutoffs, and I will not say cutoff, but I'll say something that is required to get a shortlist. Depending on which IM you're talking about, that figure can vary from say a 50 percentile to a 75 percentile in each of the sections. So I would say depending on which IMs you're targeting, you have to keep that target. So let's say you're targeting say an IM A or something. I think SC requirement would be around 65, 75. So at least that much in each of the sections. But if you're targeting say an IM Jammu, right, maybe at even, I don't know, 50, 60 percentile in each of the sections, that also will help you. Scored low in SimCAT 19. That's okay. That's completely fine. There's nothing to be concerned about, right? So, see, minor drops here and there, fluctuations is part of everybody's journey of CAT. So, I'll not be worried about that. Is the past actual CAT papers percentile given based on real CAT aspirants or just IMS student? Real CAT aspirants. So we, because of the lot of data that we collected over the years, right? At least for CAT 22, CAT 23, and CAT 24, we have exact section-wise raw score versus scaled score versus percentile. So that is what we use. Okay. Any idea about KJ Somaiya and Wellinger cutoffs? KJ Somaiya has what 4 different tests that they accept. I think CAT is around 90 something. ZAT is I think lower, around 75ish. NMAT is around 225, and I think their CMAT cutoff is 97ish. But again, you should check the B school zone where you will find more accurate information. Wellinger is I think 90 plus in any of the tests. You should have a shot at getting at least an interview call. Apart from mocks analysis, what else should be done in a day to make the most optimum use of remaining days? Sleep a lot. Definitely sleeping will be very, very important. 8-9 hours if you can sleep It will help you to make the neural connections in your brain stronger. So definitely sleep. It will help you to retain better. The other thing is, from an optimization perspective, about 6 hours of study is good enough if you can do that. Anything more than that might not be required. Okay. Um, IFT cutoff, yeah, it can be lower, right? If you are asking for a specific category, it can always go lower. So you can apply. I mean, that data is taken from the past data only. So there is nothing which you have written on B School Zone which is just written randomly. Right? At 97 percentile PYQs, because of silly mistake, I could have been in 89 rock, moving to 99 percentile. How to consistently get that? One section always gets messed up like each time. Okay, so see, most students will not have extremely balanced performance. What I mean by that is, very few students you will see get, say, a 99.5 in each section or 99 in each section. What will happen is they will have like 2 good sections and third section is okayish. But let's say you have 2 very strong areas. Third area, even if you don't do very, very well, say one section you have 99 plus, the other is 98 plus, the third is 95. Your overall will still be 98 plus. Right? So that is why I need not worry too much about a section wherein I fall, but the fall should not be very significant. It should not be like, okay, I've got like, say, 50 percentile in one section. As long as that is not happening, as long as you're above the sectional requirement for whichever institutes you're targeting, do not overthink about it. Okay, because minor fluctuations will happen to everybody. So even if you get, say, 99, 99 and 90 percentile, you are still okay. There is no problem. But then you need 99 in the other 2 sections. So 2 great sections, third okay section will be enough to get to a good college. Okay, my profile is 666. General non-engineer should apply to SPJN. Not really. I mean, with 666, honestly, I don't think SPJMR you have a shot at it because of the number of people who will be applying with, say, 888 profiles and above. Vedika, I haven't studied geometry and PNC. Should I study? In the remaining time, I would not really study anything which is massive. Maybe you can pick and choose. So maybe, for example, in geometry, you can study only triangles. In PNC, you can study, let's say, very easy to moderate level questions only. Say number formation questions, for example, or arrangement type of questions. But I'll not go and do very, very difficult questions. Is 55 to 60 a good SimCAT score for 95 percentile? I think fair enough. I mean, in that ballpark. I have my college end semester exams till 26. How do I strategize my last few days? See, in the last days, again, it's not going to be very different from what I say you should be doing from today or tomorrow, right? It's not different. You get up at the same time that you're going to do on the actual CAT day, take the mock in the same slot. Don't take a mock after 28th. So 28th is the maximum that you can go when it comes to taking mock test. So no mocks after 28th. After getting a call, what is the chance for conversion? Again, the higher the percentile, obviously the chance will be more because most B schools have pretty high component when it comes to the test score as well. But see, if somebody has gotten in the past with a lower percentile as well, it tells you that you also have a shot at it. So you apply and see what happens. Okay, how to revise QA? Don't solve the questions again. Go through the approaches. So read a question and revise what steps you need to take to get to the answer. I've given around 25, 28 mocks and been scoring around 50, 60. I want to push more, miss out on a lot of questions that I know in QA. Analysis is the only thing that will help from now. So analyze the past mocks that you've taken. You've taken 25 mocks, that's very good. Exposure is more or less there. But you have to analyze your papers to know where you're going wrong. So in terms of both selection and in terms of your accuracy percentage. Would 788 work for SPJ? Not really. I think it's pretty low for SPJMR. Unless you have some great extracurriculars. 9-10-7 general female SPGen, maybe because of 9-10 and female candidature, but again, you need to have good extracurriculars as well, plus maybe extracurricular, plus maybe work ex if you have, then that will help. My ACATs are 1085, 1267, grad 9. Can I get into top IIMs? You can get into top IIMs. So it's not that you will not be able to make it, but you need a higher percentile. Average 95-ish predicted percentile. Should I fill IMT? Yes, you should. My main fear is, what if I'm not able to identify easy moderate set? Is that has happened before, etc. So Neeraj, you rely on the fact that you have put in so much effort, and that effort will not go waste. Right? So you don't keep thinking about the negative stuff. You keep concentrating on the positives that have happened. So that is why I tell people that you revise, especially if you're feeling negative, right, or low. You go to the mocks where you've done well to see, okay, what did I do right that led to that particular score, rather than revisiting again and again your bad mocks. Of course, bad mocks have something to teach, but if you're feeling low, visiting a bad mock is going to make you feel worse. So might as well concentrate on good stuff in the remaining days. Okay, a lot of students are asking about SPJMR, right? See, the point about SPJMR is, typically people who get shortlisted, right, have a 999 profile. But having said that, there are people with 888 or an 898 or a 988, etc., will also get a shortlist. Anything in the range of 7 generally will be a problem unless you have great extracurriculars or work experience. So let's say somebody with a 789 profile but has 3 years of work experience and great extracurriculars can possibly get a shortlist. Okay, again I'm saying possibly because you never know what exactly they do in terms of the parameters, right? So I would say you keep evaluate your overall profile. Don't just look at your 10, 12 graduation. And we have made a video on SPJMR form filling, in which I have given the data points of our students who have made it to SPJMR. If you see, most of them had very good profiles when you look at 10, 12 graduation. Do you know about IPM program? I'm not really like, I don't generally follow that too much, but most of the IIMs have it now, and I think even IIM Mumbai has announced that they're going to start it. Something like that. So, but I'm not an expert on IPM. SPJ 987 NEA 15-month work ex. Can try. I mean, 98 is good. 7, I don't know. Again, see, with exactly how they evaluate graduation score, we don't know. But non-engineering female is a good combination. So with 15 months of work ex, I think can give it a try. I fell ill just 10 days before exam and unable to concentrate in my prep. What do I do? So very important, take care of your health, right? You have to get it fixed as much as possible. The weather also sort of keeps changing, so you have to take care of that. Don't go out unless it's like really required, and just eat home cooked meals, right? That's the best thing that can be done. So take care of your health, and whatever time you spend when you're awake, right, you try and do easy stuff, right? Don't do anything which is very very difficult for you, so that anyway you are tired, then you're doing difficult stuff, so you might not be able to feel good then at the end of it. So better to sort of keep it a bit simpler. Okay, CFA L1 counts, yeah, it definitely helps to an extent. What to do in the last 10 days? Okay, so we are almost towards the end, so anyway I was thinking of closing it now. I'll give you like a plan that I would have done for the last 10 days, right? And again, doesn't matter whether you have done 20 mocks so far or 10 mocks so far. What I will do definitely is in the remaining days is plan out how many mocks I'm going to take. That number can be, say, at least 5 and a maximum of, I would say, 8. Okay. Then I will ensure that I take mocks in the same slot as much as possible. I will sit in front of my laptop for 45 minutes before the test and do nothing. I will ensure that after I take the test, I take a break for a couple of hours and then revisit that entire paper. The remaining time that I have, I go through the past papers that I've done and analyze and try and figure out what went wrong in those papers or what went right. I will focus on the question selection table and try and see that am I doing more A category and B category questions compared to C category questions. The time that I waste on C category questions should be as low as possible. The time that I spend on getting A category questions right should be as high as possible, right? So I should be having more and more A category attempts and score coming from there. Okay. 76, 86, 6.6 chances for new IMs with 98 percentile. Decent chance. See, with new IMs, most of it is going to depend on your test performance, right? So you have a great test performance, things will get sorted. OBC male BBA grad 997 should have filled FMS and SPJN, average of around 70s. I don't remember the exact cutoff for FMS for OBC male, but you can have a look at that. It's there in the FMS form filling video. SPJMR with a 997 can try for it if you have good extracurriculars and maybe some work experience. Any tips for MICA? I got 18 in my first MICA mock. 18 is good. So 18 is decent. In the actual MICA, if you look at it, the paper is like very difficult, especially the quant section is very bad. I think I had 5 point something in quant last year. I mean, terrible quant. So there's no point overdoing quant in MICAT. Majority score should ideally come from the verbal section and the divergent and convergent section. Okay, if SimCAT scores are in the range of 50-70, should I apply for MDI? Okay, please have a look at the MDI form filling video. We have covered information about the cutoffs expected and who should be applying to that particular institute in the video. GEM 98 percentile, what are the best chances? Okay, so right now let's not worry about B schools, because see, the point is, if you have a feeling that okay, I can get a call from this based on past data, etc., you should just apply. Even if there is like a difference that okay, my predicted CAT percentile is 90, the B school closes at 92 percentile, should I apply? My answer is yes, because right now everything is prediction, right? Once CAT is done and once we have the paper and you have the response sheet, we more or less know then what is going to happen. At that point, your decisions about B school applications will become better. But right now, you go with the past data and your gut feel that okay, I think I can possibly get in, so you apply. Okay, getting 70 to 80 percentile in mocks. My focus is on NMAT with the CAT mock score. Can I crack NMAT? Can't say for sure, but I've seen people getting a 78 percentile in CAT getting into NMIMS. So if that helps in any way, I think you have a shot. How to calm myself? Okay, the only way to calm yourself is to tell you that this is not the end of the world, right? So see, I think all of us, when we take the test, right, we tend to relate what we can do in life with that, but that's not true. So I've seen a lot of people who eventually even dropped out of the whole CAT game, but ended up doing very well in their life. So had a friend of mine who was preparing with me, never did an MBA because of 2 attempts and didn't do well in any of those attempts. But he got into, had a pretty good career after that. So, and is very happy right now. So this is not the end of the world, and that's why you should be always calm no matter what happens. Okay. All right. So with that, I think we can end this because it's been almost an hour and I don't want to spend more time. I don't want to waste anybody's time further. So if your question hasn't been answered, you can leave it as a comment and I will reply. Make sure that you do everything that you can in the remaining days without burning out, and you should be fine. Okay. Avinendra, what's your question? How can we be focused before exam? Like while I'm taking mocks, I'm facing a little bit of brain fog. How to handle that? If just before the section begins, right, you can take a quick 5-second pause and take a deep breath, right? That itself will reset a lot of things. It sounds cliched, right? It sounds like, what is this, right? It's nonsense, but it's not. So those of you who haven't tried closing your eyes, and most of us don't do that, and concentrating on your breath, do it for even 5 seconds or 10 seconds and you will see that it relaxes you. So try that out and it should help. Okay. Raj, minus slot 3 and it will take 4 hours from my place and decide to go on the D-Day only as I don't want to risk my sleep a day prior. Any more advice? I would suggest that you travel before a day prior, right? I mean, if it is 4 hours of travel, 4 hours is a lot. So unless you are planning to sleep in those 4 hours and it is possible to sleep while traveling, I would encourage you to travel a day prior and stay somewhere. So Saturday morning, for example, you can travel. Saturday afternoon you reach, stay somewhere, sleep, whatever. Next day you are fresh, right? So it's better if you can do that. That would be my advice. Okay. S2 students, what good things are in my hand. So as a slot 2 student, I think the only thing that you can look at is slot 1's quick commentary, whether anything different in terms of the composition of the question paper, right? So anything has changed in DLR, anything has changed in QA, that's it. You don't worry anything beyond that. So individual difficulty, so somebody will say, okay, my slot quant was very difficult. That may not necessarily happen in your slot. But if suddenly the number of questions had changed, that you should know, because then you can be better prepared mentally. How to connect with me? I'm there on LinkedIn. So you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you just leave it as a comment and I'll reply. 96, 98, 86 in 10-12 grad. I think you have very good chance at SPJMR, so you should apply. If you are expecting 85 plus, this is Nagashri, you should apply. I'm 16, I'm in 10th. I wanna. Okay, firstly, if you're 16-year-old, this stream is not for you, right? So you are at the wrong place. Go and study. That's number one advice, and do what you like. Okay, all right. So I think institute questions, please have a look at those videos: FMS, IFT, MDI, SPJMR. For all of them, we have made form filling guideline videos. You will find them on the channel, and go through them and then decide whether you want to apply or not. If you are a little bit behind on the target, you should still apply, because you need to have faith that you can get to that particular score. Okay. With that, let's end the stream. It's been exactly an hour from time we started. So all the best to all of you. I'll hopefully see you soon on Monday. Till then, bye.